Hey guys, in this video I'm going to go over some of the most difficult questions from the Unit 3 test. So if you do plan on retaking it, make sure you pay special attention to these questions because these were the ones that a lot of students ended up getting wrong the first time through. And remember, at the end of this video, you'll receive the password to retake the Unit 3 test, and you'll have all of spring break to do so, and then I'll take the video off probably the Monday that we get back from spring break. So getting right into it, this test, you probably noticed, was not really it honestly was not a lot of problem solving or critical thinking. There was a few questions like the phylogenetic tree, which people did pretty well on, but a lot of it was just knowing facts and using those facts to differentiate between organisms, and specifically flatworms, humans, and plants were the biggest parts. And so the first question goes along in that theme, and we have waste removal in a flatworm is best described by which of the following statements, and then you get some statements about flatworms and how they may remove waste. And remember, the one that's true, and I remember we went over this a couple times, is that flatworms have an extensive branch system to remove liquid waste. And so I'll make a text box here. And that's what flatworms have. And there's a couple other answers that say they store waste, or they process it all with the same system, or they just don't remove waste. And that's not true. The one that's true is that they have this branched system that removes liquid waste. And then if we look at a flatworm, this is our flatworm. So they have kind of this system. There's like something that goes down the middle, and then it branches off just like this, and it collects all the liquid waste, and then the liquid waste kind of it goes out pores in their skin, kind of like how we sweat. Their liquid waste is different composition than our sweat, but it's kind of the same idea. Next one, humans take in the energy they need to survive through which body part? And the big confusion here was that some people said intestines and then some people said mouth. And the answer is the mouth, because we're talking about how we originally, I guess it's kind of confusing, but if we're talking about how we originally take in the energy, and right, we use our mouth to eat food, and then that food in the intestines, it's absorbed into our body in the intestines, but we originally take in the energy that we need to survive through our mouth, not the intestines. Next one, of the following, determine the waste product that your respiratory system removes from the body. And I was a little bit disappointed in this one, because I think we all know what the respiratory system is. It's how we breathe, right? And then the choices you had were carbon dioxide, urine, blood, and oxygen. And a lot of people chose urine, and I think we all know what urine is, and we know what the respiratory system is, so that wouldn't seem like a logical answer that urine is the waste product that we release from our respiratory system. We know we breathe in and out air, which is a gas, and so say, oh, okay, I could, it's either carbon dioxide or oxygen. And then the waste product, remember, is carbon dioxide. So CO2 is carbon dioxide, and that's the waste product. That's what we breathe out, right? What we breathe in, oxygen, and then we use the oxygen, our cells use the oxygen, and we breathe out, the waste product is carbon dioxide, CO2. Okay, next, which system do you find in a human but not in a flatworm? And so here we're directly comparing a human and a flatworm. And we get a couple systems. We have the digestive system, nervous system, and a respiratory system. And the flatworm does have a nervous system. It's not like ours. It's not as extensive. They don't have a big brain, but they do have a nervous system. And they do have a digestive system. Remember, they do eat food, kind of like us. Remember, they have the closed digestive system, so there's one opening for their food and their waste. And so they do have a digestive system. They do not have a respiratory system. Remember, our flatworm, there's no respiratory system. Oxygen enters by diffusion, and then CO2, their waste product, also leaves by diffusion. Uses diffusion, and that just means it kind of it goes right in their skin. It moves through their skin directly into their cells. There's no respiratory system. So they do not have a respiratory. And then, of course, we as humans do have a respiratory system. We breathe in air and it goes into our lungs, and then it goes into our blood to all of our cells. All right, and the last one we have here is, how does your heart deliver oxygen to your body cells? And we should know, I think all of us know that the heart pumps blood, right? And the answers here were kind of equally distributed to the three incorrect ones. And I think we all know the heart, right, pumps blood around our body. And one of the reasons why that's important is because it pumps oxygenated blood to all of our cells. So the blood goes to our lungs, and then in the lungs, it gets oxygen. Now there's oxygen in our blood. We call it oxygenated blood. And then that blood goes to all of our cells, which I think we know, and it delivers lots of things. And one of those things that it delivers, and one of the most important things, is oxygen. So the heart pumps oxygenated blood to all of your cells. We'll use a text box. And then the cells use the oxygen, and then the blood has to return to the lungs and get more oxygen. So how does it deliver oxygen? It pumps oxygenated blood to all your body cells. We have one more. There we go. Do plants need to break down glucose to obtain energy? Now this kind of goes along with what we were talking about, how plants, remember, plants do both photosynthesis and cellular respiration. And so yes, plants do need to break down glucose because cells can't use glucose. Remember, all cells in the entire world use what form of energy? ATP. Yes, they use ATP. So yes, they do need to break down glucose. They break it down into ATP, and that's the energy that the cells use. So remember, plants are special because they make their own glucose through photosynthesis, right? They use photosynthesis and they make their own glucose. But then they also must use cellular respiration to break down that glucose into ATP. So yep, they need to do it and break it down to ATP. Okay guys, and that's the end of this video. I know this is kind of shorter than normal, but like I said, I think this test is pretty straightforward. Just knowing the facts is really what this test is mostly about. So remember, get the password, make sure you write it down, and good luck on your retake.